name is Jason JROCK Houston, and you're listening to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. My special guest tonight is Bang Tango guitarist Drew Fortier. How you doing tonight, Drew?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm great. Now, I understand that you've been with Bang Tango like from 2015 to present. So I was curious, being that you're not one of the original members, how did you get the gig with the band?
Oh man, in the most random, unique way humanly possible. It's actually all started from doing the movie on them, and just getting to know them really well. And this Kevin the songs is tattooed in my brain for like 4 years it took me to make the movie.
Wow.
And and so I know we'll get into making the movie in a little bit, but I finished the movie and screened it in Chicago and planned it to where Bang Tango was on tour so they could be there for the screening. And they had a show the next night in Chicago, and then they were like, "Hey, we appreciate you doing the movie. Why don't you just, Bang Tango was a 2-guitar player band. Why don't you just sit in and be the other guitar player? Since we only have one guitar player currently." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely." Oh. And so I did the show with them. It was a lot of fun. It was like a perfect way to bookend the whole making the movie happen experience. And then 2 days later, I'm at work, and Joe calls me up on my lunch break. He goes, "Hey, Drew, how would you do about playing in front of 20,000 people tomorrow at the M3 Festival in Maryland?" Wow. And I was like, I'm renting the car right now. I'm on my way. So I drove 12 hours straight from Chicago to Maryland and did the show with them, and it was just mind-blowing. And then they've been stuck with me ever since.
Wow. Now I assume that you're a Bang Tango fan before you ever started working with the guys.
Oh yeah, my older brother, he's 11 years older than me, so like growing up when I was a kid, he'd always watch Headbangers Ball and MTV and all that, and he was a Bang Tango fan, so I was always familiar with them, and then that goes into how I randomly started the Bang Tango documentary.
Wow.
And if you want to get into that.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. That was kind of where we're going next. Now, I was kind of curious, so did you reach out to the guys about doing the movie, or did they contact you?
Oh, wow. This is also a very unique situation as well. I was working at a bar in Chicago at the time, and my boss was like, they book bands every once in a while. My boss was like, "Hey, we're going to have a Bang Tango play here in a couple weeks." I was like, "Oh, I remember them. My brother used to listen to them all the time." And so then the day comes, and I'm there. I'm not working, so I'm just hanging out. I had like a camera in my hand just to shoot some footage and a lot of district kicks. And Joe Lestay, the singer of Bang Tango, walks up to me and he goes, "Hey man, you look cool. You got long hair. Go find some weed." I was like, "No." He said, "What's that in your hand?" I was like, "Oh, it's a camera." And I was like, "Whoa, we're recording in Chicago in 2 weeks. You want to do like a studio documentary?" I'm like, "I have no clue how to do that, but sure."
Okay.
And then, and so I showed up 2 weeks later at the airport when they landed, actually, and they were like, "Whoa, you were serious?" I'm like, "Yep, here I am. I got the camera again."
Wow,
and then,
that's cool.
Yeah, and then I started shooting footage of them at the studio, and got my friend Joe Blaskowski involved, and he helped me produce the movie too, and all that, and it was insanely fun. And then just watching the whole process of them recording Pistol Whipped in the Bible Belt.
Wow. So let me ask you now. How long have you been shooting, the various footage for the film up until the time they asked you to join the band? Because I'd imagine it'd be kind of almost surreal from, you're just a guy doing like a little documentary or film on this band that you were once a fan of, and then the guys ask you, "Hey, how would you like, hey, you play guitar, why do you join the band?"
Oh yeah, that was just absolutely insane. I ended up with like 400 hours of footage. Wow. It was ridiculous. It shot the thing for about it took 4 years to make.
Yeah.
and I had no idea how to make a movie, so I learned how not to make a movie.
Yeah.
And learning from that, I learned how to make a movie. So it was like film school all in and of itself. Just learning how to do everything and all that. It was just absolutely soul crushing, but in a pleasant kind of way. Because I was like, well, I'm learning how to do something, but it's so stressful, but it was so much fun at the same time. So like from they went from being like a studio documentary to me getting a hold of the original guys in the band, and they were super cool about it, and kind of like, whoa, why why is this weird kid from Chicago wanting to make a movie about Bang Tango? And I'm all about taking random opportunities, so I was all in. And then so I flew to LA a couple times, and I got to know Mark Knight, the original guitar player. He's amazing, and got to interview everybody else, and roped in all the in-between members from the original band up until the band at that point. Then there's like, they had a lot of players, and it was just. It's thinking about it now. It's like, what was it?
I mean, it's almost like, it's ultimate fanboy story, if you know what I mean. I mean, it just sounds so cool to even hear. I mean, and talk about, so you go and meet the original guys, some of the guys that aren't with the band anymore. Talk a little bit about meeting the original guitar player, Mark, you're telling me about, and what was it like, kind of not only meeting the guy that you replaced, but did you guys sit down and like jammed any Bang Tango's tunes, or just any rock tunes in general?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'd met Mark right after I started doing the Bang Tango movie, and he was just so cool and so welcoming, and he's just an amazing dude. And first time I flew to LA to interview him and everybody else, he has his own band called Mark Knight and the Unsung Heroes with Tig, the original drummer of Bang Tango, and also the second guitar player of that band is Mark Vermelia, who replaced Kyle Stevens in Bang Tango, so it's like this cool little Bang Tango situation, but it's like more like a rootsy Southern rock kind of band, and it's friggin' awesome. And I went to Mark's house, and him and I got some acoustics, and he started showing me how to play all the Bang Tango riffs and all that. So that was really surreal. And actually, I had him. He actually was open to doing like an acoustic version of Midnight Strut, which you can find on YouTube.
Okay, wow.
He plays and sings that acoustically, and then I ended up doing some video work for Mark as well. I shot a couple of music videos for him. I actually went on tour with him in Kentucky and Tennessee, where myself, him, and Mark Vermelia all had acoustic guitars, and we did an acoustic version of Someone Like You with Mark singing. That's on YouTube as well.
Well, an interesting thing about doing a documentary like this is, interesting thing about Bang Tango is they're one of those many bands that came from that time period in the 80s where you've a lot of people definitely know the name Bang Tango. They probably can't even name, or some people can't even name a song, or they'll hear a song. Oh, okay, yeah, I heard that song before. And then for several years, Bang Tango wasn't together, and you guys just regrouped a couple years ago. So it's like kind of a perfect time to make this film, kind of remind people of who this band was, and if you weren't aware now, check out this movie and you'll find out what they did before.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely. It's just Bang Tango at that point just had kind of like a strange presence. It's like everybody knew that there was only Joe left and everything like that. And I think after the movie got finished and out there, and people kind of understood them a lot better and like just where they stand and what they represent, that it definitely built up their perception quite a bit more, and kind of as the unsung hero. This band that in this movie kind of represented a lot of those bands from the late '80s, early '90s that never popped off the way they should have. And it was just it's so humbling to be a part of a band like that, and to get to play with them and do the movie on them and all that.
And let me ask you, Drew. Now, it's kind of interesting. You said this is the first kind of professional like film or documentary you ever have worked on, and I know at the time the film was released a little over a year ago. I was going to post about that before we were getting ready for the interview tonight, and saying that this 1 year anniversary of a Bang Tango movie. Congratulations on that! I remember at the time when the film was released like a year ago, we had all kinds of great reviews, got a great response. So I know with the music industry being what it is, a band like Bang Tango, you could make a decent enough living, go out there just playing the old tunes, but being that like you've been with the band since 2015, has there been any talk of like going in and recording any new music?
Oh yeah. There's always been talk about that. It's always in the back of everybody's minds, and all. It's just kind of just waiting for the right time. Just to kind of regroup and just get everybody in the right headset to do that. And I know everybody wants to do it. Everybody's I know Joe definitely wants to do it. And it's inevitably definitely going to happen. I know that. But as Axl Rose once said, soon is the
when the time is right, it'll happen, so to speak. But now, when that time does happen, being that you're like one of the newer guys in the band, do you feel any pressure, like to kind of make sure the band keeps that classic sound, or do you want to kind of go in and kind of put your own influence on, the guitar parts and that?
I'd love to. I'd love to pick up where
the band
third
left.
album left.
Yeah.
The unreleased album, Love After Death, because the direction they're going with that one was a bit more heavier, a bit more just harder edge, and but still had that funkiness to it. You know, it's like for me personally, I love to go and like a follow up to Love After Death. Rather than a follow up to Pistol Whips and the Bible Belt, which is a great album. Yeah. But I think people would definitely appreciate that classic Bang Tango, funky, heavy sound. You know, more so than anything else, especially right now. Yeah, and you know, being a musician yourself, like you're mentioning the Bang Tango movie. That's your very first professional film you ever worked on. So, being that a guy that never really has worked on a film like that before, what was talk a little bit. What was it like for you when the film was finally released and you're reading all these great reviews and it's just such a great response? That must have been a great feeling for you. It really was. It just felt so much at peace, because I ended up putting it out there for free because of song clearing issues.
Oh, wow.
With Universal, because I had no clue how to make a movie, especially the business end. So and so I toward the end of the whole thing, because I had it took about a year and a half to actually edit the whole thing myself, going through all the 400 hours of footage and everything. Yeah. That was overwhelming. And then it was like, okay, how do I get it released? And I had some distribution offers. Like, I reached out, and then they were like, all right, great, but you got to clear the songs. I'm like, crap. Wow. And so I reached out to Universal, which bought MCA years ago. Wow. And so they have all, masters to all the Bang Tango stuff. And what seemed like being in contact with somebody for like a week or two, then I get passed down to somebody else. Yeah. Passed down else because that person I was originally talking to either got promoted or fired. Wow. And that went on for like 6 months, and then I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there for free. This one's on me, Like I just really just wanted to speak for itself, and I just didn't really want to see any monetary gain from it. This one was just straight from the heart, and I just wanted to get it out there. I was really proud of it, and just wanted to share it with everybody. And the reviews have been just absolutely just humbling, just incredibly flattering. Just to people have been speaking very nicely about it, and just really enjoyed it, and that means the world to me big time. So for people like me, that I got to admit, I still haven't seen the film, and so I guess from what you're telling me, it was never officially like released on DVD. But can people still go online and check it out? Oh yeah, definitely. So for every year since I released it, this is the second year I finally put it out there. I just throw it back up there, like, hey, it's if anybody wants to check it out, and it's really cool to see people saying like, hey, this is like my fourth time watching it, and it just people get a lot out of it, especially a lot of newer bands too, because a lot of these younger people, they just kind of get into music and they think it's gonna be all glitzy and rock. Like off the bat, but then you watch a movie like this, and it's like it really helps them decide whether or not what they want to do with it, because it's got to come from the heart. You got to think of it as a hobby more before it becomes a career. Like you're always going to have a day job, something to fall back on, because just being in it for the right reason. Is just all that matters, and everything else can kind of take care of it for itself. Which it makes kind of interesting to talk to you, because I wasn't aware of some of this stuff before I talked to you, but they call it the music business for a reason now. In regards to getting the rights to the songs and that, I know a common practice these days, a lot of bands go in, because like you're saying, they don't own the masters to the original catalog or whatever. A lot of bands go in, they do re-recorded versions, or so they could just have updated versions, so they could own the rights to something if they want to use it. Has there been any talk of that, or because there's also the opposite end where people think, well, you're kind of messing around with the classic, Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's funny you mentioned that. There is actually the first person I ever told was to, but there is a chance I could actually get the movie a proper release, because Bang Tango in the late 90s re-recorded all of their most known songs for an album called Riffs for Cleopatra. And Brian, the CEO of Cleopatra, told me a couple of years ago, he's like, if you wanted to switch out the songs for these and just get it out there, go ahead and do it. And so that's still a very big possibility, and so there's a good chance I might do that. And you're the first person I've ever told that to. So I appreciate that, and I think that would be a cool thing just to get
proper release, and I think that would only add more to the story of the film, and I'll tell you why, because it's kind of just what you told me so far. I'm very interested. I mean, okay, you put out this great film, got great reviews, and this is kind of like what a lot of starving artists go through. You know, like you're saying, I put out this great film, got great reviews, haven't really been able to, you know, make anything off of it though, because of all, you know, not being able to have the rights to the songs. But as a result of doing that film, you know, which you never had any intention of doing before you just started doing the film. The guys find out you play a guitar. Hey, why don't you join the band? You actually, through the process of doing the film, you join the band. You become friends with these guys. You become part of a Bang Tango family. You get this great film out there about the band. You know, so nobody can accuse you of like, just doing it for the money, because you haven't made a cent off of it. So it's one of these cases where you got a great film out there. It really was done for the love of the band, for the love of the art, so to speak. And the fans and everybody who's seen the film, people reviewed it, just great reviews, you know. So I think it's a great story, like you said, and people can learn about, okay, this is the way you really make a movie. This is what the music business is all about. And as a result, you joined the band. You said your first gig with the band was M3. Now, talk a lot about that. Did you have much time to rehearse before that gig?
Oh, actually, we didn't rehearse at all before that gig.
Wow.
Joe and the guys were staying with me, and then being realized that we were just jamming on acoustic guitars, and Joe was like, you know the songs? So I was like, he's like, all right, you're playing with us. I'm like, okay. And I think since I've been in the band, we've only done, aside from sound checks, we've only done maybe like one rehearsal, and that was before the Riffs gig we did in September in LA.
Wow.
And I remember like in 2016, we right before we did Rock Oklahoma, we did a run of shows around Texas, and we wanted to introduce a different song to the set, which was "Don't Count Me Out" from Love After Death, a really heavy song.
Wow.
And, I think before the first show, we just, you know, all kind of just knew it, and we just did the sound check, and we were just like, okay, I guess we're gonna open with this one now. So that became the opener of the set.
Wow, how cool is that? Now, let me ask you, before Bang Tango, were you just like a local musician that did local shows, or had you played any, or like, first time you played with Bang Tango, what I'm asking, was that like your biggest gig you'd ever played?
Oh, yeah. It's just, at that point, like, I was just pretty much just, it's about, maybe like 10 years ago, it was like a Zeppelin tribute band.
Oh, okay, okay.
But, so that was fun. It did a couple shows, and while I was doing the movie, though, I was kind of over just playing music. I was just like, you know what, maybe just do the movie thing and see where it goes, you know. And
how cool is that? Look what fell into your lap, you know. I mean, you weren't even expecting it. That's what makes it that much, you know, cooler, you know.
Oh yes.
And I gotta tell you, Drew, I have all the respect in the world, no matter what some people may say about tribute bands. I see a lot of tribute bands here in LA where I'm from, and to me, it's like rock and roll theater. I mean, it's like anything. You got some bands that are good, but I think the ones that are really good, the cream rises to the top. And if you got a great tribute band, they can take you back to the day, you know, when you heard Led Zeppelin on the radio for the first time, or seen Kiss in concert for the first time. You know, if the band's got the talent, you know, I think that a lot of it is really good stuff. Hello?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, I'm a fan of tribute bands myself, and so I just wanted to give you props for, you know, you got having that experience. Now, I know you're from Chicago. Is that where you're originally from? The reason I was asking that, I know Chicago has a huge blues music scene there.
Oh yeah. Born and raised in Chicago, and then I moved around a little bit after that, and now I'm in Indianapolis with my fiance and her kids, which is you know, I love being domesticated. It's the most amazing thing in the world, and it's you know, that's like my number one thing right there. It just feels amazing. But yeah, I grew up in Chicago, and it was there's always something going around musically, and a club where I met Bang Tango at was a pretty cool, like kind of like a Chicago version of like the Whiskey a Go Go.
Oh,
like,
cool.
A little play.
So
bands would come.
So I guess there's a pretty good rock scene there these days. Would you say that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's you know, so many bands, and it's like, you know, a lot of product, not enough demand kind of thing. And there's so many bands, and it's like, you know, it's thing, but it's awesome to see everybody still wanting to see and play live music.
Wow. And so, who are the bands that kind of influenced you to do what you do?
Oh man, that's a good question. I've always loved Led Zeppelin, Megadeth, Fear Factory, Life of Agony, Ozzy, Faith No More.
That's what we're going. Yeah, interesting to bring up Faith No More. We're going to talk a little bit about that before we get into the film you're currently working on. I want to talk a little bit. I know you're also currently working with, I think, as operations coordinator at EMP Label Group, which is a really great label. It's David Ellison from Megadeth's label, which he launched about a year or so ago. And I'm a big fan of what you guys do. So talk a little bit about what you do with the EMP Label Group and how you got involved with them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I got involved with them through Tom Hazard, who I met a couple of years ago, and he's become one of my best friends in the world. He's amazing, and then so I would be. He lives in Green Bay, and I was in Chicago at the time, so I'd go up to hang out with him, and then I'd go on these adventures with him, to all the festivals and all that, and just promoting EMP and everything like that. And he was like, you know what? Then I started helping out with him more and more and more. I got to know Dave pretty well, and they're both just lovely guys. I love Ellison, I love Hazard. They're amazing people. And then I started getting involved more and more, and then Tom started giving me a lot of his responsibilities for the label, and then named me operations coordinator. And that was probably about a year ago. And then I'm still doing work for them, but more so in the capacity of professional middleman for a lot of legacy bands. I was able to bring them Autograph, and I was able to bring them Kid Tracy, and a couple others, and so it's kind of just being like professional middleman with them now.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the label. Number one is being the fact that it's Dave Ellison's label. You would expect it to have nothing but thrash bands, but like you said, it's got everything from Mark Slaughter to Kid Tracy and Autograph. And oddly enough, the man we're getting ready to talk about, Chuck Mosley, who recently passed, the original singer from Faith No More. He was on the label about a year or so ago. Excuse me. I had the chance to interview Chuck, and I never met the man in person. Just talked to him over phone like we're doing, but really friendly, down to earth guy, and it seemed like he was going to be making a comeback. So it's a shame that he recently passed like he did. But now what we're getting ready to talk to you is, I know you just announced recently that you're working on a new documentary, which is going to be based on Chuck Mosley's life. And I love the title. It's called Thanks and Sorry, a documentary about Chuck Mosley. So talk a little bit about how this project came about, because I think it's a real great thing you're doing here.
Thank you so much. And the way this came about was actually from being with Tom Hazard and him to having Chuck on his label. He was like, I got to hook you up with Chuck. So I ended up going to go see Chuck play in Indianapolis with my fiance, and me, Chuck, and his percussionist / manager Doug, and his guitar player Chris just hit it off like crazy. We just all blended really, really well. And then I told Chuck, if he ever needs anything, just let me know. And then next thing you know, I'm talking to Doug and talking to Chuck, and then they want to bring me on. And then I started playing guitar for Chuck.
Wow.
And which was the most surreal, amazing thing ever, because Chuck was one of my heroes growing up, and just being able to get to know him, it was just such a fun time, because it was just nothing but laughs the whole time. So we'd always just be on stage and just trying to make each other laugh. Me and Doug would always have Chuck cracking up by talking like Bane from Batman.
Yeah.
So Mr. Mosley, hold the record, and Chuck would just lose it on stage. And then he would start doing it too. There's a picture of Chuck Mosley doing the Bane voice. It's hysterical.
Wow.
And so then Chuck became a really good friend of mine, and we had a great connection. And we just just talked on the phone all the time and everything. And but right before he passed, we were talking about doing the documentary on him, and he was all for it. I still have a voicemail that we actually put out with the press release, where he actually says he wants to, he's like, let's do the movie, but he does the whole voicemail in the Bane voice.
Wow.
It was great. And so we were all set on doing the movie, and then what happened, and it was just it's such a tragedy because he just recorded a new album with Matt Wallace producing. Matt did all the Faith No More album.
Wow.
And that's still going to come out at some point too. And now me and Doug Esper, Chuck's percussionist slash manager slash babysitter, and so him and I, he's producing it, and I'm going to direct it, and we've been in the midst of setting up interviews and all that, and just getting it going, and that's just going to be a straight from the heart, this truck story, and it's kind of like a way for me to get to know my friend even better, even though he's not around anymore. You know?
Is there any chance that you guys will use footage, being that he was signed to your label, and that you'll be able to use live footage from live performances he's been able to do since he was signed to your label over the last year? Because kind of what we're talking about with the Bang Tango movie, I don't think you'll have as much of a problem with that for the simple fact that you're involved as far as working with the label yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I think I probably wouldn't risk using any of the Faith No More songs.
Yeah.
But just learning from my mistakes from before.
Yeah.
And definitely. Chuck's what was put out from the label on demos for sale. It's a great, amazing album. Yeah. And his newer songs as well. Definitely intend to use in the movie too. And there's so much great Facebook Live footage of him just like on tour, and there's a lot of great live footage and all that. And he used to pull out some off the wall cover songs too. Like a couple of times I was playing with him, we'd open up with "Nothing Compares to You."
Wow, Sinead O'Connor, which is really a Prince song too. Many people may not know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so cool and touching just to hear him sing it because he just did it right from the heart, and it was so cool. And so I'm so excited to help tell Chuck's story so everybody else could get to know him better too. And I'm really, really amped and revved up because after the Bang Tango movie, I vowed never to make a movie again.
Yeah. I was reading that on your Facebook page that kind of celebrating the 1-year anniversary of film, and you had originally vowed never to make another movie. But I'd imagine the fact that you and Chuck had planned on doing this kind of before he passed, and once he passed, it kind of took on a new meaning for you. Like, hey, well, he's no longer here. Why don't we kind of keep this dream alive, so to speak, and at the same time we can, kind of pay tribute to the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. He meant so much to me. I love him so much, and it's kind of funny too because after I did the Bang Tango movie, I joined the band.
Yeah.
But before I did the Truck movie, I played with Chuck. So it's like kind of like a reverse thing.
Yeah.
But he was just an amazing person, and I vowed never to do another movie again because just the whole process of learning how to make a movie was just absolutely just soul crushing. And I was like, I would never want to put myself through that again. But with Chuck though, for the time I was able to get to know him and call him a friend and loved one, and it made it so worth it that it felt like the right thing to do. And I was like, you know what, I want to do this for Chuck. I want to do it for him.
And I think a great thing about a film like this, more so than anything, is Chuck Mosley. I mean, he's a guy that if you're a metal fan from the '80s, you definitely have heard the name. It's kind of like it's kind of sad because a lot of the metal community, they may or may not have heard the name Chuck Mosley. They may refer to him as the ex-Faith No More singer, and like you said, he was starting to kind of a little bit of a comeback and put out some great solo music. So I think by you guys putting some of that music in the film, it'll help, if anything, not just remind people that he was the original singer from Faith No More, but that he had his own catalog of music as well. And I think it might help prop that music up, for people to check it out that maybe didn't get a chance to hear it when it was originally released.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. And his solo music is absolutely incredible. It's so great, and his whole influence on music itself is just incredible. He's such a humble dude, but he's responsible for helping influence bands like Korn, Disturbed, Limp Bizkit, stuff like that. And even not that many people know this, but Robert Plant was a Chuck Mosley fan.
Wow.
I know. In an interview with Rolling Stone, and I think it was like 1988, the interviewer asked him, like, what are some of your new favorite bands? And he said, probably my favorite band right now is Faith No More from San Francisco.
Wow.
And he actually, Robert Plant actually took Faith No More out on tour in 1990 when Mike Patton joined the band, and I guess Robert Plant was kind of disappointed that it wasn't Chuck singing.
Wow. Yeah, because, like I said, I never met the man. I had the opportunity to interview him, one time, a little over a year ago. And the feeling I got just talking to the guy over the phone is he came across really down-to-earth, friendly, super nice guy. And I even remember asking him something to the effect that, hey, does it bother you that, people refer to you as, the ex or the original Faith No More singer? And he was like, his attitude was kind of like, well, not at all, man. That's why people know me, and so I thought it was cool for a guy that, was kind of trying to make a comeback to have that attitude rather than like a lot of people say, I don't want to talk about Faith no more, that's my past. I'm just focusing on the future. I love the fact that he was so proud that, hey, I don't mind people, refer to me as Faith, ex-Faith No More singer. That's where a lot of people know me from, and I just thought that was a great attitude.
Oh, absolutely, and it's just, he's a big fan of irony too, and here's how cool Chuck was. We do the shows and all that. He'd actually cover a Mike Patton era Faith No More song. We would do "Take This Bottle," and as the outro for some of the songs live, I go into on guitar. I start playing the piano outro for Epic.
Wow.
And he'd have fun with it. He'd be like, "That sounds familiar. What is that, Metallica or something?" Yeah. And he'd start like doing like a really cool like noise solo over it and everything. We just had a blast, and it was so cool. So he loves Mike Patton too. I know. That's
great. That's great. And now I got to ask you, when the news was announced that he had passed, did you get a call from somebody at the label? Did you read about it on the internet? How did you first learn of the news?
Oh, it was I had just gotten out of work, and Doug Esper, his manager, sent me a text. He's like, "Drew, I need you to call me." And I was like, "Oh, that's never a good sign." Then he called me up, and the first thing he said was, "Drew, Chuck's gone," and I just absolutely I lost it.
Wow.
And it was just one of the worst days ever. It really was just awful. And then the news got out later on that day and about what happened and everything, and it was, man, I just was just talking to him like a couple days prior to that too, and it was just he was so excited about everything, just his new album and the documentary and all that, and just he had just become a grandfather. And
wow, and how sad. Yeah. And I remember the day it was announced that he had passed. It's kind of this always happens with with musicians and stuff, or famous actors and that when they pass on. It's kind of it was amazing to see all the fellow musicians go on Facebook and the internet, and they're posting all these wonderful tributes about Chuck Mosley. How surprised do you think he would have been that people thought enough of him to post those tributes online?
Oh yeah, he would have been just like, no way.
Yeah.
He'd be like, what? He'd be like, what? Yeah. And then he would have just been just so flattered, and then it was just so flattered. And he was, it was so weird because he actually he went to go see Mike Patton with that cross, and that last tour. I think that was back in August or September, and he just went to go hang with Mike. We were going to see him for a little bit and say hey. And he had just hooked up with the guys in Korn when they came through town.
Wow. And again, I love the title of the film, Thanks and Sorry. What it kind of reminds me of, it's very fitting because it's kind of like, hey, Chuck, thanks for entertaining us. Thanks for leaving us with this great music. Sorry though you left us a little too early. Exactly.
And it's also something he said at a show, too. That title was actually at Doug's suggestion, and they were playing Toledo, and they were playing a song, and they flipped it up a little bit, and then at the end of it, Chuck went, thanks and sorry.
Wow. And, talking a little more about his past, it'd been, people know that he'd struggled with substance abuse, for years, but were you at all surprised that he was still struggling with it? Did you think he had beat it, or did you know he was still kind of battling with that?
He was 100% clean when I was with him, and as far as I knew, and he was just doing great. And that's the sad part of addiction, because you just never know when it's going to come back and grab you. It just takes one time, and just to do it. And he was doing so great. He was clean for the longest time, and that's once you're an addict, you got to live with that forever, because it's just one day at a time, And they say love the addict, but hate the addiction. And I love the addict. That he was just a wonderful human being, and it's just it just breaks my heart, and it's just so terribly sad that he's gone. And that's a feeling that's
very tragic. It ended the way it did, but like I said, he left us with some great music. Now, let me ask you, in regards to the film you're working on right now, I'd imagine, in parts of the film you'd be talking about people that played with him, obviously fans, and like you said, showing some footage. And this is something that's just announced. So, is there at all is this something that'll be released on EMP? Is this something you're going to be releasing independently, or do you have any idea yet about any of that?
Actually, we're not sure yet, but I'd love to pursue the EMP route. I think that'd be kind of cool to kind of cover a different kind of medium with that. Instead of maybe like a video production division or something like that. That's kind of run that by the boss. Yeah. And there's some kind of distribution with that, because I'm sure it's entirely possible.
Yeah, well, that's great, because I gotta tell you, I love your guys' label. I love I've had the in fact, you probably know this woman. I'm getting ready to tell you. Her name is Shannon O'Donnell. She sends me a lot of.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She sends me a lot of PR from your guys' bands, and I've interviewed a lot of the bands. And one band that I just had to interview just because I love the name alone of the band. It's called Even the Dead Love the Parade. I thought, man, what a cool name that is. And,
that's great. I love that.
And so I just want to say, keep putting out the great music on that label, and I'd be happy to continue helping you guys promote what you do, because I think it's cool too that the fact that EMP label is not just owned by a guy in a suit, but a guy that's actual live the life, and then another guy you that's working behind the scenes with him, because you got a guy like Dave Ellison. He's got the experience, and he's lived the life. He knows what it's like to be a musician. He knows what it's like to just be starting out and have nothing to, look where he is. So I think it's great to have a guy behind the label that's an actual working musician.
Oh, absolutely, and he's such an incredible guy too. Oh my God, his book is incredible. Like if you haven't read it, I definitely highly recommend it. It's incredible. It's so good.
Wow. And Drew, you have a great story yourself. So before we wrap this up, I know you also are currently in another band. I don't know too much about it. It's called Zen from Mars. I was reading that you guys are currently working on your debut. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually like a Frankenstein project. Oh, okay. We got Stephen Sherrill from Kick Tracy on vocals. Cool. We have the drummer from Fear Factory on drums. We got Chips Enough from Enough's Enough on bass, and we have Chip's wife, Kate Catalina, on keyboards, and we have Brent Arns from Flip on second guitar. And we've kind of just like a whole other passion project, kind of like the Bang Tango, we've been working on for about 3 years now, getting close to 3 years. Yeah. And it's finally in the mixing stages, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be really cool, and I can't wait to get it out there.
Do you have a projected release date, or is that something that's kind of still currently in the works?
We'd hope to finally get it out there probably late spring, early summer this year for sure.
And do you hope to do any live shows behind that?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're all definitely in to do at least a couple live shows for sure, and just kind of see where it goes from there.
And Stephen Stroh, he's another cool guy from the 80s. I mean, he's one of those guys that's remained kind of under the radar. An interesting story. I had a chance to, maybe I can send it to you later, but I had a chance to interview him a couple of years ago, just talking about kind of the Kick Tracy days, and also at the time he was in a Who cover band. I mean, this guy's been all over the place, and many people may forget that Stephen Sherrill almost got the Motley Crue gig before John Corabi, but then they ended up going with Corabi.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, Steve would have killed that gig for sure, definitely. And Stephen and I do a lot of acoustic shows too around the country. We do a lot of the Kick Tracy stuff. Wow. And that's always a lot of fun, because he has I kind of Tracy stuff again, and for the past couple of years, and there's a chance for people like to hear the songs acoustically for like the first time in like however many years, and so that's been a lot of fun too. And he's an amazing individual. He sounds even better now than he did back then. Like he's just a powerhouse, incredible singer.
And so what's it been like for you, Drew, as far as working with EMP? Like, you're a bang tango fan, and then, like you said, you guys recently put out that Kick Tracy release, and you're helping some of these guys that you're actually, a fan of once upon a time. That's got to be a great feeling that, hey, I give these guys a chance to get their music out there, and I get a chance to go out there and do some live shows. That's got to be pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. And another band I brought them to was called American Bombshell. They're from Indianapolis, and they're like the next AC/DC. They're going to blow people away with their album and all that. VMP, I just kind of reduced myself to being just like the middleman kind of guy versus just like more so like the operations coordinator, so to speak. But in a way, I am coordinating the operations of being the middleman.
Well, there you go. And a final question in regard to the Kick Tracy CD you guys just put out. Is that just a collection of old unreleased tracks? Because again, that's kind of a cool thing to do, to kind of get something new out there for those fans and kind of remind them, hey, remember this band Kick Tracy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's 2 discs, and the first disc is all No Rules era material, which are all demos and rough demos, and that has a demo of the song Don't Need Rules, and it's 100% different from the one on the record, and that's really cool. And the second disc is all unreleased material from the Field Trip EP.
Wow.
And it's a great collection, and it just came out on vinyl too. Wow. And it's definitely, check it out, man. You're gonna love it.
So will you guys be releasing a lot of stuff on vinyl? Because that's, interesting enough, that's seems like vinyl's making a huge comeback, which is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of big plans for a lot of really cool vinyl releases this year, and it's very exciting, and you're gonna love it.
Wow, well, Drew, I could talk to you all night, but I know it's kind of getting late where you are, so I'm going to thank you for taking time talking to me. I really enjoyed getting to know you, and I want to encourage you to keep in touch with me when it gets time to release a Chuck Mosley movie, or your band drops the CD or anything, or you need help promoting any of the EMP stuff. Feel free to reach out to me, because you got a new supporter in me. I'm really behind this movie, and once the movie comes out, I'd like to help you really get the word out about it again.
That means a lot, man. Thank you so much, Jason. I love talking. Yeah, we definitely got to do this again soon. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime, and I'll let our mutual friend Shannon know that I had a chance to do this, and so thank her too for all that she does, because she really rocks what she does for you guys.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's absolutely fantastic. She's awesome.
Okay, you take care, my friend, and I'm gonna try to get the interview probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So once it gets posted, I'll let you know. Okay, and then at that point, you're welcome to post it anywhere you like.
Thank you so much, man. I can't wait. Once again, thank you so much, buddy.
Okay, take care, Drew. I really appreciate it, and I'll be in touch with you once this gets posted. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right, sounds great, Jason. Thank you, buddy.